There we are. Hello, guys.
I think we've gone on.
No, there we are. Hello, hello.
There's literally nobody here. Who are you saying hello to?
We always have to give people a bit of time, to come in. We are obviously a few minutes late again.
Okay, no, do you know what? My worry was that it wasn't even connected.
No, all is connected. All is
Okay,
well.
hi guys.
We're
Sorry
here.
for being late again. These live videos are like a tricky territory.
It's a bit of a challenge sometimes.
With
yes.
like bedtime routine, hoping
Exactly.
that they go to bed before 9 o'clock.
Come over more to me.
Oh.
There we go. Want to see more of you.
Hi guys.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
You're here, awesome.
Thank
Welcome.
you so much, guys, for joining us.
From Ghana, California, Zimbabwe, everybody is again tuning in from all across, which is always great. Brilliant. How are you guys doing?
Hello. Sorry.
Scotland. Very good. All right, let's start maybe. Since the major failure last time with my wine selection, believing as white, I this time made absolutely sure, we promised you last time, we're definitely going to have white wine this week. And that I made absolutely sure that this is a white wine, as you can see. So there's no confusion with the bottle.
It's a clear bottle, down.
It's a clear bottle. So we've gone for the Yellowtail Pinot Grigio today, which I know is one of your favorites from Australia. So we're going to start with that first of all. And again, we hope that you guys have your tea, water, juice, or wine ready as well.
Dankeschön.
There we go. Perfect. There we go. So this is for the first time a premiere to have white wine. Our first live.
Do you know what? I've seen a few people say we're waiting, or it's like they're waiting for us. Okay, post.
And also, as always,
nice.
it's good, right? Yeah.
Mm.
Disclaimer: as it happened, I think last week as well. There's a high chance, of course, that Keen might wake up and walk in. Just for everybody who's tuning in, maybe for the first time, one of us will just then have to jump off and kind of take care of that. But that should be all fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. The quicker we get into it,
I know. People are waiting. Sorry for that. So let's get right into it.
Okay, guys. So you know the topic of today's video. I keep forgetting the camera is there. Okay. I thought we're doing from the laptop.
I know we're not. Yeah.
Hi, guys. So today's topic is about our birth experience.
Yes.
We're gonna just start with the experience with Kian because he's our first, and then depending on how the conversation goes or how long, we might throw in Noah's. But at that point,
We'll see how far
we weren't novices anymore.
True.
We were pros, so we knew what we were doing.
We knew we were coming at least.
We knew,
coming,
we knew what was we knew what to expect.
Exactly.
Yeah. So do you wanna?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously,
first?
absolutely. So I think we really want to focus on, obviously, as we said, the birth experience itself. I think this is something for a lot of couples. Maybe that you have children already, or a relationship, and you're looking forward to have children soon. I think for us, like for so many couples, that was obviously a very, very exciting time, and we're looking forward to it. But of course, there were also a lot of questions we were asking ourselves. So we really want to start when kind of a few days, I believe, or actually the day of the actual birth, which was Valentine's Day, right? Now, we obviously knew about the date roughly. Kim was a little bit late already, so at some point we were literally...
A little bit like
Yeah,
that.
okay, he was...
It was literally 42
Yeah,
weeks.
it's true. Okay, he was pretty late.
He was really late. Like, I couldn't walk.
Yeah, it's true. But I remember at some point we were literally almost hoping, once it got close to the 14th, we're like, you know what, how cool would it be if it was Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
So we're kind of like hoping, okay, Kim, now you can stay in a few more days, But basically everything started really on the morning of the 14th, right? On Valentine's Day.
No, that's not when it really started.
Okay, sorry. Okay, well, who am I to say that?
No,
Who
that's
am I
when,
to say?
no, that's when it started. But there are two things I want to jump in
Sure,
on.
of course.
First was the excitement that you had talked
Yeah.
about. I was so excited.
Mm.
So I think I've said this before, I wasn't one of the girls who grew up picturing like her wedding or her future family. But when that stage came for me, especially the pregnancy, I was so excited because obviously like I had read about the process of pregnancy, but to experience it was a very exciting time for me. Secondly, I was pregnant at the same time with my twin,
True.
and she had her baby in January. So the longer the days drew by for me, or the longer the days were for me, the more anxious I got, because I was really anticipating it, because my sister would be sending pictures of her newborn, who was already over a month at this stage, and I just couldn't wait. But yeah, like you said, it started on February 14th.
Yes, it is.
And do you know, I don't remember his actual due date at this point.
Me neither.
I think it's the 9th. It was the 9th of February.
Possibly.
But anyway, was it the 9th?
I think a bit early, actually. He was
a bit earlier,
a bit
because
early,
he
but
was
yeah.
42 weeks
Gonna say
plus.
yeah.
42 weeks plus, anyway. And I think the first time mom syndrome and all the negativity that you hear about, like induction and all. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The irony is I'm a doctor, so I know, of course, there's nothing wrong with
everything, right?
induction, but still, it's different when you're the patient. You know what I mean? So
and doctors are usually the worst patients.
Yeah, I know. But then I was like so against like induction, so against everything unnatural, which now standing here feels so stupid. But I was against, like, I wanted to be against epidural, induction, C-section, everything considered unnatural, and I wanted to go like, you know, all organic. So like when my doctor was saying to me, my obstetrician, you know, you're going on 42 weeks, let's talk about an induction, when are we going to call you in? I was like, nope, no induction.
Not having that.
Nature's going to take its course. Nature's going to do its thing. I was 42 weeks and I think one day, so 42 weeks plus. Anyway, Valentine's Day, then I started...
Early in the morning, I think, right?
Yeah, really early.
Yeah,
I think
so
like
Adanna's,
7.
your mom had been around, obviously. Adanna's mom had come to visit us before that, obviously, in time for the supposed due date. So she'd been around every day, kind of just doing some exercise, going for walks. But that morning, then very early, I think, we woke up very, very early, actually. And you were like, okay, I think now it's really starting.
Yeah.
Right?
But the contractions were about 15 minutes apart or something. It was really like delayed. I'm not one of those moms who kind of recorded every single thing about the birth period, so I'm trying to patch up the story. It started off with like prolonged contractions, and then I sat in the bathtub.
And I remember also like, exactly. And you know, obviously I had the bag packed, you know, and like as soon as you said, although of course we talked about, you're like, okay, obviously look, when the contractions start, one of the not the worst things, but one of the usual things that a lot of first-time moms do, of course, is as soon as they start, they rush to the hospital, and obviously that usually or often is way too early, right?
Yeah.
So I knew that in theory, but that morning I remember when you said like contraction, whatever. I mean, you weren't that dramatic, but when you basically said like, oh, I think it's starting now, I was like, okay, when are we going? After breakfast, let's get ready.
Like,
I'll put the bags in the car. You know,
I
was ready.
David and my mom were like bickering, like pressuring me. That was like, let's go to the hospital. Let's go to the hospital.
Better to go.
I was like, guys, I am not leaving this house until my contractions are 5 minutes apart, like minimum. Like,
and then I was sitting there with the app kind of tracing, okay, babe, I think I think it's 7 minutes. You know, like, we're getting close. We should go. We should really go.
I was sitting in the bath because I know, of course, like, I mean, I personally just didn't want to spend too long in the hospital.
Fair enough.
So anyway, the contractions then became 5 minutes apart, and finally this guy was so excited to finally go to hospital, even though I don't really know if your emotions was excitement or like anticipation. Like, I don't know.
It's a mixture. I mean, I don't think you can, these kind of emotions you can't really, you know, label as one. It's a mixture of a lot of things, but there's certainly excitement 100% as well in there. 100%. But also, to be fair, so those things the contractions started early in the morning. We are not talking about 5 or 6 p.m., right? Yeah. So it was literally the whole day we spent in the house, kind of, you know, tracking the contractions and everything. You know, so I think by 5 or 6 p.m. we eventually left, right, to the hospital. Yeah.
Okay, so I then arrived at the hospital in pain. Literally, guys, the worst pain, and I have a very high pain threshold. I know that about myself.
You do.
This pain was on another level. And I was there already thinking, because my twin had already had her baby without any epidural, 4 pushes or something, baby came out easy peasy. So I was like, you know what, it's going to happen the same way for me. So obviously with David saying that we had stayed the whole day before even going to the hospital, I just could no longer bear this pain. and I just didn't even care about my, I'm gonna have a baby without epidural. Nobody gives you an award for like tolerating pain. So I was like, to
Whatever.
hell with that. Bring me that epidural. Bring it to me right now. But anyway, so obviously with they would obviously check how far along you're dilated. And so the first nurse who did my examination said to me, you know what, you're only 1 centimeter dilated and we can't really give you epidural because epidural is given to women who are in active labor, which means contraction and dilatation. But since your uterus is not dilating, you're not in active labor, we can't give you epidural. I was like, I'm about to die.
I think give me whatever else you can, like any gas or...
Bring the gas, bring everything. I'm about to die. So, I didn't get any pain meds.
No.
Basically, guys, just to kind of jump the gun here, I ended up being in labor for 27 hours.
Yeah.
27.
And exactly, and that 27 hours basically were walking up and down the corridor. I don't know how many hot showers we took. They have obviously these very kind of big and kind of spacious, bathrooms. So again, I don't know how many times we went in there, like hot showers, sitting on a ball, I think, or something.
We did everything. And when I think back to that period, right, I think I was literally a mad woman. Like pain can actually make you mad. Don't.
This is the time when, as a husband or a boyfriend or whatever, you have to be quiet and not make any comment because you can only say something wrong.
Speak. Anyway, I was in labor for 27 hours. In that 27 hours, guys, I did not dilate past 1 centimeter. I did not go. Literally, the entire time I was 1 cm. And this woman come, there's no dilatation, so you're not in active labor. We can't give you epidural. I was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Please give me something for my pain. Yeah. I took the strongest pain med that you can even take in pregnancy. Yeah. I was ingesting it all. There was nothing helping me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so because I wasn't in active labor, they didn't want to take me to the labor ward. They're like, the labor ward is for women who are actually
in labor,
contracted. Actively in labor. Sorry. So they took me to the ward where women wait before they go into. So especially women who are being monitored before their pregnancy. We were in the ward. The pain was just getting so unbearable. And I remember at some point, when did we even see the nun? Was it before?
That was the second. No, that was the second night. So obviously the first time we arrived, we said 5-6 p.m. That first night was, for me at least, like that was kind of we were still very hopeful everything would go according to normal, let's say, procedure or process. Was that second night, I think, when we then.
There was no second night, babe.
It was. It was born the following morning only, of course.
Yeah, so it's only one night.
It was 27 hours. We went there at 6 p.m. in the morning.
Oh, did we go there? Did we go there at 6 p.m. in the morning?
In the evening. So 27 hours, of course, is the.
Yeah.
No. It was.
Really? We're getting this mixed up. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that timeline.
Trust me.
But anyway. So I was in so much pain, and I had said the good, the bad, the hilarious. Right. This is the hilarious part of this labor, because I was in pain. It was so bad that I physically started biting into the towel. Yeah. Like I literally was eating
and
the
anything
towel.
that was coming your way, by the way,
I was like, I need to release this pain somewhere. So I was chewing into the towel, apparently, and then.
What do you mean apparently?
Well, I was chewing into the towel because the pain was too much, and then I hear someone laughing,
giggling. Let's call it giggling. Okay,
guys,
not laughing. I mean,
literally, if I can claim that there's only one time since I'm married that I've literally wanted to strangle David, it was on that day.
For that minute. For that 1 minute.
No, for that minute. Obviously, you've heard the stereotype of like women in labor, right?
Yeah.
Do not even mess with them, let alone that I'm in so much pain.
Yeah.
And David, poor David, he probably thought it was just funny that I was chewing into a towel.
I mean, so obviously, from my perspective, having kind of gone through all these hours in the hospital, trying to do my very best, from massages to whatever I could do, talking to nurses and trying to get the best care possible. There was, as I said, that I believe second night, like kind of whatever, 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was getting really, really bad, right? The latest kind of, I think some gas or whatever you were getting like was really worn off, but the nurses had told us you can't get the next one until whatever hours, and it was getting really, really bad. And then so she was there biting into those towels, throwing things right, left, and
Was
like
that actually through?
absolutely, as you said, I mean, understandably so, going mad, And at some point, there's just this one moment in 27 hours, okay, where I was just sitting there from the outside, obviously, looking at it. It's just, it was funny, okay? It was funny. But obviously, until then, I always had to, kept my mouth shut. But I couldn't help it. At that point, so a little giggle came out, like, or something.
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
As you can see, till today, I'm being kind of labeled or blamed for this, for that one giggle.
I looked around. I was like, "Are you laughing, David? Oh my God! You think this is funny?
You're so mean.
You're so mean. Do you think this is funny, David? You think this is funny?" He's
my
like,
God.
"I'm so sorry, babe. I didn't mean to laugh. It just came out." I was like,
Yeah.
never have I ever had a man laughing at a woman in labor. But anyway,
wasn't
like I'm being
laughing,
dramatic.
I mean,
It wasn't laughing. It was just like
a little. I couldn't hold it anymore. It was just a
like
little
a
bit.
chuckle
Exactly.
at
A
the
chuckle.
wrong time.
I agree. It wasn't the best timing. Yes.
But anyway, so bottom line is I continued in, pain, not
course.
labor, because I wasn't dilating. And then when it got to a point that I literally thought that I was going to die.
Yeah.
I don't know if did I ever communicate that
of course.
to you? Yeah.
Of course, many times.
Yeah.
Many
I
times.
thought I was going to die. I was like, this is it. This is the end of my journey on earth.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to meet my masters. I thought I was gonna die, and then this lady
Yeah.
dressed in
Remember.
in
the middle of the night.
So in the middle
In
of
the
the
middle
night.
of the night. It was dark, quiet on the corridor, no sound other than Adanna. But
Yeah.
and then
Other than Adanna. Anyway, this woman dressed like a nun. She came in and she's like, "Hello, darling. How are you feeling?"
so you said dress as a nun. She was a nun.
Well, okay.
Like it sounds like somebody dressed up as a
No.
nun. She was a nun.
Okay, she was a nun. She was a nun dressed like one. Okay. And then she comes in and is like, "Oh, honey." She introduced herself and she said, "I'm from Nigeria."
Yeah, true story.
True story. So we had not met this woman. We didn't know who she was. She came in. She introduced herself, said she's Nigerian.
Yeah.
And she said to me, "Honey, you look like you're in a lot of pain. This is not acceptable." And she had a very Nigerian accent,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
She's like, "This is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. They can't treat you like this. Come with me."
Yeah.
So she took the
Yeah.
both of us to the labor ward. She's like, "I cannot leave you on this ward because even though they're saying that you're not in active labor, you need to be taken more seriously. Things don't look right." So she took me to.
I mean, I then spoke to her afterwards. She kind of after she said that, and I kind of met you. We obviously went out, and she went to speak to some nurses, and I went there to kind of see what the story is as well. But yeah, she then convinced everybody in that the nurse's office.
Labor,
or whatever.
So she convinced everybody that they need to move me to somewhere where they can, I suppose, more they can monitor me more closely.
Yeah.
And then she went with David to get the rest of our stuff.
Yeah.
We moved to a completely different wing of the hospital, and then had this conversation with the nurses. They said they were going to monitor me. So after, I think a few hours later, we were asking, what was the story here about the woman? Okay, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no.
Yeah,
okay, I'll come back to that. So this woman transfers us to the ward. Then this is in addition to all of the 27 hours. So I said to the nurses, something's wrong. I'm going to sign whatever form you need to, but I think I need to be going to the theater. I think they had done the CTG monitoring. His heart rate was going down.
Yeah.
They had done a fetal scalp sample. He was desaturating basically. Heartbeat was going down. So it became an emergency.
Yeah. Suddenly the doctors came in as well, consultant as well came in.
Before the consultant came in,
Right.
when it then became an emergency, the nursing staff, who eventually we found out were students, they said, "Oh, but you're not in labor, and normally like active labor is 1 centimeter dilation per hour. So since you're still 1 centimeter, let's give it a couple more hours." I was like, "Woman, listen to me. I've been in labor for 27 hours. I'm not waiting 1 more hour. go call the doctor, take me to the theater and
Yeah.
bring out this baby. So the whole thing, like she got the doctor on call.
Right,
It
and that's
became,
when the consultant came in, right?
yeah, the consultant
yeah.
came in. It became an emergency. So
Yeah.
they took me to the theater.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's actually, sorry to interrupt, but that actually from the outside again was probably the one time even I was because seeing that of course from the outside, and you obviously they don't really exactly sometimes tell you what maybe is happening, and you know that they're always trying to of course intentionally calm patients down.
Yeah.
But when obviously consultants and like 3 or 4 nurses stand around, it's like, okay, let's talk about emergency. Okay, when can we move her in? 10 minutes? No, that needs to be faster. You could see there was a real urgency after hours of waiting.
Yeah.
So that was really, I remember, like for me, it was a little bit like, okay, I really hope,
Yeah. So it became a bit of a panic.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, type situation. So, I went into the theater at this point, and then they took me in first.
Yeah.
They took David to another room to get him dressed to come into the theater and obviously observe the delivery.
Of course.
But apparently, when he went to, after David changed, they were supposed to bring him from the entrance where my head was. Because when you're doing an emergency C-section, or a C-section anyway, there's the drapes covering the abdominal region.
Mm-hmm.
So they were supposed to bring David from the door that was leading to my head.
Yeah.
Whoever directed him kind of pointed him towards the other door. So by the time David was walking in, they had already cut me open, and they were trying to like drag out Kian.
Yeah.
And
so you can imagine.
So the horror. David was literally mortified. He came to the head like where I was, and he was holding me. He was like, "Babe, you're open all the way there." You were shivering, David. You were shivering. I was like, "Man, hold yourself together."
You cannot remember what really happened.
Can.
No.
I can, David. I can.
I was not shivering.
We're gonna agree to disagree on this one.
There's no way I was shivering.
Because
I was shocked, but I was not shivering.
Okay, you were not shaking, but you were like, "Babe,
I was a little
babe,
distraught,
they cut you open. Oh my God, babe,
That's
I saw all of you. You're open." I was
true.
like, "David." So
I think the funny thing was because obviously there was so much adrenaline and I guess tiredness after at that point, exhaustion and adrenaline mixed. It didn't fully register. It's one of those things. I think by the time I got to your head, that's when I fully realized what I just saw. Because literally, again, not to be too graphic, but literally the belly was cut open and that started going in there. So there was stuff coming out that I could see that as a non-medic.
Yeah.
For you, that would have been super normal. And maybe anybody out there who's maybe a nurse or doctor, him or herself, for you guys, it might be normal. But for me, that wasn't normal. So I just had to
Anyway, this guy, not minding the woman who's cut open, okay, he comes and he's projecting his horror on me. And he's like, "Babe, you're cut open. Do you know that they have you open?"
The whole belly is open.
The whole belly. I was like, "David, not now. Put it together. David, put it together. Put it together, David. Not now. This is not the time." He was like, okay. I was like, "Really, David? That's exactly what happened." You were shaking. You can deny it all you want.
I wish we had recorded the whole thing.
Anyway,
that's not what happened.
Anyway, the bottom line is they brought Kian out, and then the next thing I know was, so you know the way you bring out a baby and there's the cry and everything.
Mm-hmm.
When they brought him out, he was blue.
Yeah.
Like literally, he was the most cyanotic baby I'd ever seen. The cord was wrapped around his head, or around his neck anyway. And apparently, so that's why I was not in active labor, because obviously for me to have been in labor, the head had to obviously push forward and make contact with the cervix. But there was none of that contact because the umbilical cord was holding him back and obviously strangling him. So he was cyanotic. All I know was literally a team of pediatricians running into the room. They were suctioning him, trying to resuscitate him, and it was just the most terrifying few minutes of my life. It was really, really bad. All I was thinking was any more if we had prolonged it, he would have died. He literally would have died. And I was thinking to myself, I'm only here because a nun showed up and insisted
in the middle of the night.
and insisted that they took me to a more intensive
And we didn't actually see her
care.
after
Wait,
that.
hold on. Wait, so I'm here because of that. Otherwise, like, it would have been a whole different story. So when this process was over and we were in the sort of like the delivery unit, right? So David and I, we said to the nurses, you know what, we're only in this position and here happy with a healthy child only because of that nun. So please, like, what's her name?
Yeah.
What word is she? We want to say thank you. And guys, I kid you not, literally till this day, the entire hospital is claiming that there is no Nigerian nun that works there. Not, like, you know what? Like, it's a miracle. Like, when I hear these things, I'm like, I have been on the receiving end of a proper miracle.
I mean, at least the people, like, we really spoke to everybody at that time on the ward, you know, and nobody was really able to tell us the name or anything.
Not even, they said there's literally no Nigerian nun that works here. They said that. I was like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, in the middle of the night, this woman spoke to David and I. She insisted that we're looked after.
Yeah.
She's the reason we even started having a dialogue with the team that ended up taking us to the theater. Like, we need to say thank you. And they're like, I'm sorry, we don't know who you're talking about. There's no nun here, let alone that she's Nigerian.
Yeah, and it wasn't even one of those, like, where you sometimes maybe ask yourself, okay, what was it just imagining?
Was I imagining?
I mean, even myself, right? I literally, we were having conversation. I was with her in the nurse's office, or, you know, whatever we call it there, in the middle of the night, talking to the nurses. It was only, I think, we carried, you know, she helped me then go back to the room we were in to take out the bags and everything. So it's not like one of those, like, you know, brief, I don't know, imagination type of thing. Like, she was literally there. We're talking with her. You know, she was physically in that room. She made
the other woman give me more pain medication, and she kept telling me, "Don't worry, you'll be taken care of. Everything will be fine. Don't worry, everything will be fine."
And I can still, to this day,
I know what she looks like.
I was gonna say, I can completely. You know, sometimes you have like a rough idea, but like I can completely.
I know. She
like,
was a skinny.
If I was a good artist, I could literally paint her. You
I know exactly.
I can't paint, but if I could.
What she looked like. Until this day, it makes me so emotional because I'm like, if not because of this woman, Kian would have been a stillborn. There is no doubt about it, because I saw the way he looked when he came out. He was cyanotic. He was blue. Literally, he had to be resuscitated. And like, with people saying stay a few more hours, you know, for the active labor, we could have lost him. So I just think, I personally think it's a miracle from God that God sent that woman, because who is she and why doesn't anybody in the hospital know about this nun? Anyway, so
but fortunately, also, to be fair though, I mean, they did obviously all the tests afterwards and everything, and it was fine, right?
Oh, with Kian?
Yeah, of course.
No,
they obviously then went to do extensive checks on him because of the situation, what had happened, you know. And fortunately, there was really no, you know, when it comes to the oxygen he consumed or anything, there was no, you know, nothing they could really spot at this point, which is obviously super important.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the bed story, and then we ended up staying there for about.
How long was it? 3, 4?
Because it was an emergency section. I ended up there for 5 days.
5? Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. On the 5th day, they wanted to keep me a bit longer, and I was like, nope.
No. The first time they said you can go. Yeah.
I'm going home. But I think leaving the hospital, we felt like thieves. Stealing a baby.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Because do you remember you were in with the?
We should explain, by the way, why.
No, I'm saying because we felt like we were stealing Kian.
Yeah, it didn't feel real, right?
It didn't.
Yeah.
So having that car seat where where Kian was, we were leaving, and I kept saying to David, like, why is nobody asking us where we're going with this child?
Yeah.
And I think you were saying, well,
it's ours.
It's ours. They kind of know it's ours, so they wouldn't ask any questions. And I just felt like we're stealing a baby because it's our first child.
It was so surreal.
Oh my God, what are we gonna do with this child when we go home?
Yeah.
Thankfully, my mum was around.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously you can imagine her texting throughout the night, you know, with me and everything. You know, for her was also, I think, other than the two of us, I think she was the most kind of, you know. It was the most nerve-wracking for her as well. You know, she was obviously in our house waiting, and you know, she knew obviously we went through the whole day of labor already, and then obviously I tried to update her throughout where I could, you know. So yeah, when I then texted her that morning, I mean, Jesus, she was so relieved, you know.
Yeah.
And then of course we started, like, I started visiting with her. I started visiting you every day, then all of those 5 days, and we stayed as long as we could and everything. It was great to have her then, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's great to have her on.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my birth story, and I think that experience really was the thing that helped me really examine all of the myths around pregnancy, especially with like first time, parents who are being shamed for using epidural or having a C-section. There's a lot of stigma around it in the, sort of like the parenting community, to some
especially for new
extent.
parents, right? They're always made to believe that this is kind of, that's, and it's so wrong.
And of course, there is nothing wrong with going the natural way, because that is, of course, that is the natural way. So obviously nothing's wrong with it. And that was my plan. Yeah. But the fact that I had even stayed, gone past 42 weeks, because I had this thing in my head that it has to be a natural birth, when everything surrounding the pregnancy and the birth kind of like was pointing me, to the opposite direction. Yeah. I'm just really thankful that that went well.
Absolutely.
With Noah's pregnancy, of course, we've talked about his pregnancy and what led up to me even realizing after 4 months that I was pregnant. Because of the high risk pregnancy the first time with Kian, high risk with Noah, my obstetrician said to me, we're gonna monitor you, but just bear in mind we're bringing you in for another C-section because we can't let you even be overdue. But with Noah's one, we kind of already knew what to expect. We were pros at this point, so it wasn't that dramatic.
No, it's true. It was still in a different way, of course, equally exciting, or needless to say. But yeah, it's true. Fortunately, we didn't have that kind of level of drama.
Yeah.
But look, it's an experience at the end of the day, right? I mean, there's a lot. I think also if sometimes I feel you can, looking back at how things went, or even Noah's story, for example. I mean, both boys, if you think about it, really had to be fighters to even start into this life, and maybe obviously given that everything ended up well, of course, you can say, well, maybe it ends up being a good thing. It might have formed ultimately their character, maybe, or their spirit. Their
spirit.
Who knows? So you never know. Why things happen sometimes, and looking back, maybe certain things then suddenly make sense,
Yeah, but we're very grateful for 2 healthy children now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're gonna carry the next pregnancy.
Oh sure, yeah, of course.
If men had uteruses.
Our girls, yeah, sure, if I could.
If men had uteruses, I would love to get them to just experience one pregnancy. Oh my God, can you imagine? But anyway, that's our birth story.
It is.
And looks like this might be one of the quickest videos we've done, which is good.
Well, we still have a bit of time for questions.
Yeah, of course, we're going to answer some questions.
Exactly. So let's see. We saw, obviously, look, you guys have been already putting up a lot of comments, which is always great.
We have more.
But any questions from you guys out there in regards to birth stories, maybe some of you who are about to give birth or about to have a baby as a couple or whatnot, whatever it might be, let us know if there's anything.
Any questions? Well, someone says, will you have more kids? Well. You know what? Someone said, to what extent do you think your lack of attention was due to your race? The funny thing is, I wouldn't have thought about that, because it's such a critical situation that if you're human, you can't even believe that somebody would treat you that way in that situation because you are black. Yeah. So I never considered that for a second. Although since the Black Lives movement becoming more heightened or more global in the last few months, and reading about the fact that when it comes to childbirth, labor, pain, or any accidents and emergencies, Black people aren't given that much attention because they're considered to have a high pain threshold, which is so ignorant, let's just say. But in that particular situation at that time in 2016, I didn't think my treatment was because of my race. It could have been, but I didn't think that. That's the honest truth. I didn't think that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to say, right? I mean, you never 100% know. I also, personally, and of course, both our judgment at that time and maybe our memories were obviously a bit clouded. But yeah, looking back at it, I mean, I also didn't. It's not like they kind of disregarded us completely. No, like I think that sometimes are signs. We shared some in a previous video. We shared some stories, of course, where you can see kind of the way they react to you already is dismissive.
Yeah,
that wasn't really the case. It's not like they kind of they weren't in theory at least weren't trying to pay attention to us.
Yeah.
I think it was just really like, unfortunately, and this is obviously it's terrible, but like a lack of judgment, error of judgment, or you know, from some of the nurses
Or
and doctors to just say, to not take this more seriously and say, hey, let's maybe check an you know, an X-ray before something. Is there anything wrong with the baby? I think it was more that, to be honest. But then again, it's hard to say for sure.
It's hard to say for sure. Yeah.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. Any other questions?
I'm not even gonna read that comment, guys. All of you coming to me with your baby girl stories, please leave me alone. Now you can see why there's a bit of a hesitation or reluctance. It's because with my both pregnancies, I've had like near-death experience of either myself, when I thought I was literally gonna die with no pain medication, or Noah. You know, so it's just been, it's not gone as smooth as, for example, my twin, who, thank God, has literally had no issues with her pregnancies and deliveries. So,
True.
The idea of more children, especially now, is like, it's like,
finish the sentence.
It's like head shaking.
That doesn't have to be a bad thing. That could still maybe.
Okay, should we do a few more questions then?
What do we got?
How many children do you guys hope to have? I like that question. I love that it says hope. So, do you want to go? You
hope to have. I mean, look,
four.
No, I mean, for me at the moment, I just hope to have, for example, a daughter.
No, that's the moment, but like.
Yeah, okay. My ideal number in life overall always has been 4, but it's not one of those kind of, oh, I really need to have 4. But yeah, that had always been kind of, or still, I guess, is still my kind of ideal scenario with 4 kids. But hey, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. You never know. One partner's hope can eventually be the other partner's hope.
You see?
When I catch up.
It's all about compromise. Remember? The 2 C's of any relation and marriage is communication and compromise. So.
Hey, Daddy, give it to us. Yes. Okay.
Anyway, so somebody's saying, I'm 30 weeks pregnant and having the worst time sleeping. Any advice?
Yes. Any advice for sleeping? I would say massage. So one of the things that helped me was just the daily massage from David. By you, of course, obviously. So the daily massages and pampering the rest. But yeah, especially at nighttime with like really like massage oils. Yeah. And the smell of lavender.
I was trying to set like an
like an ambience.
Yeah. We always try to set up the bedroom in a nice way with some candles and music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, another thing is maybe don't eat too late, because one of the things that really made me uncomfortable, I noticed, was the heartburn.
Yeah.
You know, when it came to like food and regurgitation and all that stuff, all this pretty stuff. Because your stomach is compressed, obviously. So if you eat very late and trying to sleep, you get a lot of heartburn. That really was an inconvenience for me.
Yeah, understandably.
Yeah.
So.
Drink loads of water as well.
Yeah.
But it's a case by case thing. There's no one size fits all, especially when it comes to pregnancy and finding what works. There is the basics, research that's done based on the study of so many women, but ultimately you need to find out what works for you. Yeah. Absolutely. But I hope you get good sleep. I really do hope you get good sleep. Okay. Someone said I had an all elective C-section.
Okay.
Which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what it is. Whatever's best for you.
I mean, retrospectively, I'm actually glad I had 2 C-sections. If I'm being honest, I'm actually glad I had C-sections. But before I got here, even though I personally would have also performed C-sections on pregnant women, I just had there was no stigma towards them. Yeah. But it was just with me. It's just with me. When it was myself, I was like, no, not doing that. And for no logical reason other than you're supposed to have your baby naturally. Yeah. With also a few family members trying to convince me that is the way or no other way. And I'm like, actually, it's fine as long as the baby's healthy. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, somebody was saying, David, do you feel bad Adanna is not ready to have more kids? Obviously not. Guys, there's no point, having a kid, especially regardless of whether it's number 1 or 3 or 5, right? You need both sides on kind of, ready for it. There's no point, and then when I say this, of course, Adanna knows this, of course. It's not one of those things where I'm like, every couple of weeks, I'm not, in no way I would ever ask her or beg her or kind of, oh, are you ready? Like, I don't, I've never come up and like, oh, are you ready for this, like in a serious way, right? Because it's the worst thing you can really do, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, both sides. I mean, I also feel it the other way. If it was the woman who was so desperate to have a child and the man isn't ready, it's also not good, because ultimately you need both sides, ideally at least, right, to be 100% on board. So
the thing is, like, it's not like, it's not set in stone for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Although, so my mood or my decisions around like having more children really fluctuates, and it fluctuates more frequently than I care for it to. Although I would say it's more towards the no rather than yes.
That's okay.
But I know that in this lockdown, the idea of even trying to have another child has come up like, how many times?
Many.
By me, right? And it's in the moment where I'm thinking, oh, David, look at how beautiful the boys, our family. Shouldn't we try for another baby? And the thing is, like, although David wants 4, I'll give it to you that you're so reasonable about the timing that you're thinking, well, although I want 2 more, now is not the time. Whereas I'm on the other I'm on the other end thinking, well, I'm thinking it's a good idea now. If you're smart, you just take up this opportunity, because if it goes, it's not, like, I just think about it that way.
Yeah.
But it's only in that moment. The next day, I'm like, don't talk to me about kids. Especially when the kids stress us out. I'm like, I am not having any more children, David.
We will see. It has to be the right timing, and we will see. We'll see what happens. And if it doesn't, then it's
also,
also...
if I do have another baby, if I do get pregnant again, right, I'm kind of hoping that is twins. Just 2 for the price of 1.
I know.
But
Imagine.
David's idea with us having another baby is like, oh, a girl. And I'm like, David, how are you even sure it's going to be a girl? Like, since I've been praying for twins, I better go back and start praying that it's twin girls. Otherwise, we're just going to end up with twin boys, and it's 4 boys.
Imagine.
Can you imagine? I actually would love that, David.
I knew you would, because the boys all like,
everybody,
Queen Mama.
I'm the queen.
I want a daddy's
They
girl.
literally
Come
call
on,
me queen. Literally call me queen. Kian calls me a queen. He does.
Don't mind it.
No, babe, don't make me look like a liar.
No, it's not a liar, but it's okay. Good for you. Good.
No, it's
good for you.
It's like all you 3 boys just like care for me.
Why not somebody who can really, desperately adore me and
I
want
do
one?
that. Babe, I desperately adore you.
For my child, it's different. For your daughter, or like for your, it's different. It's not the same. But anyway, like, how cute would it be? And I always said that, and actually my biggest selling point is, wouldn't you want to leave a legacy in this world with another strong black woman? A world needs more of that.
This is what he says to get me.
Getting another... Of course, the boys will have kind of Adanna's, determination and everything as well. Yes, but what the world really needs at the moment is another, in the long run. Of course, Adanna's still going to be here for many, many decades, but to leave a legacy, that's where I think the children are the most powerful thing. That's where you really, as a human, leave the biggest legacy in life, I think.
And your selling point is there's another black woman.
Yeah, and you want somebody else. You can raise another black girl. You can raise, with our values, but with your specifically from a female perspective, kind of your values and your determination to change something. For her, gives you even more purpose to fight for stuff, to have for your daughter to have another, different life, and then for her to continue that legacy. That for me is like
David's sales point. That's his marketing point. Every time he tells me, would you like to raise another strong black woman?
Come on.
I'm like...
You can't be such an amazing, powerful woman in this world and not want to leave a legacy after you with another female person.
I could do it by coaching other young black women.
Of course, but you'll do that anyway. But it's different if it's like your own blood. Do you understand? It's different. Of course, you will impact thousands of women over the years and have already, but like... It's different if it's your own daughter, and you know it deep down.
Look at David trying to sell. Look at David just trying to sell to me. Anyway,
we'll see how far
We'll
this
see how-
conversation.
we'll see how it goes, guys. We'll see how it goes.
I know.
But I'm
okay.
definitely not pregnant now. For
No,
some
no.
of you that have been accusing me of pregnancy,
No.
I'm not pregnant.
Definitely not. And this is live today, so
This is
definitely
live today.
not.
Not pregnant, but yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to yet another live.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Has been wonderful
It-
as always. We hope you took something away as well. Great to hear from some of you who obviously are pregnant right now, so maybe there were a few things in there, that are helpful. And as always, of course, make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Leave a comment, like the video. We'll obviously go live on the channel right now as well. So yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you already for those who are subscribed and the growing numbers, the community. We're really grateful. Thank you so much. Sorry if I'm looking here, I'm just looking at the comments.
Have a great rest week, and then we'll see you guys on the weekend for our vlog, and then next week for another live video.
Yeah, and Kian didn't wake up.
They didn't for the day actually. Yes. Lucky us.
Okay, I'll get
All right.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Love you. Bye. Oh, you already did